I'm Lawrence Mandel. I'm currently pursuing my Master's of Science degree with the Department of Computer Science at the University of Western Ontario. Today I want to tell you a little bit about the work that I've been doing with network-attached peripherals. Before we get into that work though, let's take a look at the term itself, network-attached peripheral, so that we're all clear on what this is. So let's start with a peripheral or a peripheral device. This is a device, such as a printer, fax machine, video projector, some sort of audio device, that has typically been associated with a single computer. In the past, these devices were connected to this computer via serial, parallel, or USB cable, and again, it was one computer, one client per device. In the last few years, we've seen that these peripheral devices are no longer being connected to a single machine, a single computer. They're now being connected directly to the network. This brings about a new set of problems or a new set of challenges. Once you're connected to the network, a peripheral device no longer has a single client. It now has the potential to have multiple clients. In fact, any device connected to the network is a potential client for the peripheral device. Moreover, networks today are not static. In the past, it had been that machines had to be associated with a network and they were associated for a specific set of time, their life, perhaps, with a given network. Now we see machines coming and going all the time. These devices that are coming and going can be mobile devices, tablets, laptops, and they may associate with a single network once in their life, or they may associate more times. So these are all new challenges for a peripheral device. Now again, when the peripheral device was connected to a single machine, there wasn't a lot of overhead to actually install and configure this device. You did that once and you got a lot of benefit out of that because you could then use this peripheral for the life of the connection. However, with the life of the connection being shortened so much, in the case where a device is connected to a network for a limited amount of time, again, perhaps only one time in its lifetime, it can be significant to have this overhead of manually installing and configuring peripheral device drivers. Let me give you a concrete example. I come to a university or an office and I'm there for the day. I want to print a document that I come up with and I want to use the local printer that's available on the network. Now I'm only going to be at this location once, but in order to print I have to download and install the drivers and configure the printer in order to get on this. Now to do this one time is not a great deal of overhead, but to do this repeatedly at many different network sites becomes significant overhead for the person who has to take care of this manually. There's the chore of identifying what printers are available on the network, locating the drivers, which in some cases the operating system can help you with, and in other cases it can't, and then installing and configuring those drivers, and then removing those drivers afterwards once you leave the network so as to clean your machine. So with that in mind, let's take a look at a different way that this can work. Here I have a web page up. This is a web page for the Eclipse Web Tools platform book. This is a book I wrote a number of years ago, and specifically the errata page, which lists all of the errors that were in the book and their corrections. So I'm currently connected to a home network. This home network has a Samsung ML17 printer attached to it. And this printer has not been previously configured on this system. So if I want to print the errata page to stick in my book, I select Print, and the print dialog comes up. And the Samsung printer is already listed on the dialog without having installed it previously. So now I can select to print to this printer. And the print job automatically goes off and prints without my ever having to have downloaded or configured or installed a device driver on the system. So how does this happen? Well, there is a network attached peripheral monitor that is constantly monitoring the network for peripherals advertising their services. Once it detects a peripheral, it configures your system in the manner in which makes sense for that peripheral. In the case of printing on Ubuntu Linux, this means configuring cups. So cups is configured with the printer. A proxy driver is created. This proxy object is going to serve as the device driver until a device driver is actually needed. So in the case of printing, until we select print and select a printer itself, the proxy object will simply hold the place of that driver, and once we select print, it will download, install, and configure that driver for us. Now let's take a look at the case where we switch networks. So I'm going to switch to an office network. This could be a university or an office business partner network as we discussed previously. So when I switch to this network, this new network now has a brother M.Sc 440CN printer attached to the network. The Samsung printer is no longer attached, not available here. And if I go into the print dialog again, we can see that the brother printer is now listed on the dialog and the Samsung has been removed. The Samsung is removed because it's no longer available on this network. It's not available at this location. However, the brother printer is available, so it's automatically picked up. Now before I select print to demonstrate that this works again with the printer, I want to show you that the printer specific options are also brought along with this printer. This is all part of the installation that happens in the background. So the printer is installed in cups, the printer options are installed as well, and then the device driver will only be installed if I select to print. And there you have it, the device drivers are now being downloaded, installed, and the print job is being sent off to the printer. If you'd like to reach me, you can reach me at the Department of Computer Science. My email address is lmandel@uwo.ca.